Folks, let me tell you something. The game is changing, and you need to hear about it directly. Now, when we talk about Russia and China, we're seeing something incredible, almost like a total revolution in their trade practices. Over 90% of their dealings are not in our good old American dollars anymore, but in rubles and yuan. It's a big statement, believe me. This is their way of saying they're stepping back from the US-led financial system, which has always been a powerhouse globally. Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, sharp guy, has come out and said this loud and clear. He's proud of it, claiming a near-complete de-dollarization between Russia and China. Their trade numbers, they're through the roof. We're talking a 26% jump, hitting $240 billion last year. And in 2024, another record with $200 billion. That's no small change, right? Let's not forget the sanctions we've slapped on them. Those were supposed to slow them down, but what happened? Moscow and Beijing just got closer, found a way to bypass the dollar and even the euro. Chinese banks in Russia are done dealing with dollars and euros because of new US sanctions. They're doing their trades right over the counter now, making it tricky to pin down the value of the Russian ruble. And guess what's dominating the Moscow exchange these days? The yuan. It's outrunning the dollar like never before. Now on to something bigger, a new currency idea that's floating around among the BRICS countries. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, plus some new faces like Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, and Ethiopia. They're all tired of depending on the US dollar, folks. They're pushing hard to use their own currencies more and more, maybe even cook up a brand new global currency. Can you imagine that? A world where the greenback isn't the king? You won't believe the shift that's happening right under our noses, folks. The mighty US dollar, which has always been the backbone of global trade, is now only making up about 28.7% of export-import transactions within BRICS. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. We're talking about a massive move towards using their own currencies, like the Chinese yuan and the Russian ruble, for settling trades. This isn't just about money. It's about breaking free from any strings attached to the greenback. Now, why are they doing this? It's all about gaining political and economic independence. These countries don't want to dance to the tune of the US anymore, especially with the threat of sanctions and financial restrictions that could come crashing down anytime. Take Russia and Iran, for example. They've already got a currency swap deal going to keep the US dollar out of the picture. They're setting up their own playground and telling us, no thanks, we'll play our own game. And let me tell you, their economies are not just sitting back. They're booming and expanding like never before. Look at Brazil. Its trade with other BRICS nations rocketed from $48 billion to a staggering $178 billion from 2009 to 2022. That's a 370% increase. These countries are weaving tighter economic webs with each other and using their own currencies to do it, making each other stronger while they're at it. Now, I've got to ask for a quick favor. If you're finding this discussion enlightening, smash that like button. Your likes and comments not only mean the world to us, they also help more people get informed. And if you haven't already, consider watching the whole video to support our channel. We really value your engagement, and it helps us keep bringing you these deep dives into what's happening around the world. Thank you for being part of our community. China and India? Their trade hit a record $135.98 billion just last year. China's sending over electronics galore, while India ships back heaps of raw materials. And don't get me started on Brazil and China. Their trade is through the roof at $165.6 billion, driven by Brazil's exports of iron ore and soybeans and China's electronics and machinery. South Africa and China are also doing big business, focusing on valuable resources like gold and iron ore. Even between India and Brazil, trade's bustling, with India exporting refined petroleum and importing crude oil, and their trade with South Africa reaching nearly $20 billion. It's a two-way street of heavy hitters like gold, coal, and high-end goods like automobiles. So my fellow Americans, while we've been focused on our own backyard, these BRICS nations are building their fortress, choosing to rely on each other rather than depend on the almighty dollar. It's a big world out there, and let me tell you, the game is changing. They're not just surviving, they're thriving on their own terms. What a story, huh? We better keep our eyes wide open and maybe rethink how we play this global game. All right, let's dive deeper into what's happening with Iran and its ties with the BRICS countries, because let me tell you, it's nothing short of impressive. In the fiscal year of 2022-2023, Iran's non-oil trade with the BRICS surged to about $38.43 billion. That's a 14% jump from the year before. Now China, they're the big player here, racking up a trade volume of over $30 billion with Iran, mostly snapping up Iranian crude oil, minerals, and petrochemical products. Then we have India, another key partner, with trade reaching almost $5 billion, focusing on refined petroleum, agricultural goodies, and chemicals. Russia isn't left out either. They've got a solid $22.32 billion going with Iran, mostly in energy exports, machinery, and agri-products. And Brazil? They're trading around $3.2 billion worth of mostly petrochemicals from Iran, while sending over food products and animal feed. South Africa rounds it off with a $2.0558 billion trade, showing a considerable economic handshake between these nations. But here's the kicker, folks. The real game changer is the new payment system these BRICS countries are putting together. They're not just sitting around, they're actively developing a digital currency and blockchain-based platform. This isn't just tech talk. It's a major move towards creating a secure, efficient, and politically neutral system for financial transactions. They want to step away from anything that smells like Western control, especially systems like SWIFT that are under our thumb. With blockchain at the heart of this initiative, they're looking at a setup that's resistant to political meddling and cyber threats. It's a smart play, making their financial systems tough to crack. And then there's BRICS Pay, this hot new digital payment platform that's in the works. It promises to cut down transaction costs and speed up financial dealings between these countries, all without depending on the US dollar or traditional banks. What does all this mean for us? It's clear that while we're busy with our own financial strategies, these countries are not just waiting around. They're building their own financial fortress, setting up a system where they control the gates, not us. This is big, and it's bold. It's a wake-up call for us to maybe start rethinking how we engage on this global stage, because the playbook, they're rewriting it right before our eyes. So the landscape of global trade and finance is undergoing a monumental shift as BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, along with their new allies, move away from the US dollar and embrace their national currencies and digital platforms. This strategic pivot is not just about diversifying their economic tools, it's a clear push towards self-reliance and a desire to forge a financial path free from Western influence. With initiatives like BRICS Pay and blockchain technology, these nations are setting the stage for a new era of financial independence and security. It's a dynamic and complex transformation that could redefine global economic relations and the power structures within them. For the United States, this is a moment to reflect on our role in the global market and possibly rethink our strategies in the face of rising decentralized financial movements. All right, folks, that wraps it up for today's deep dive. Thank you so much for tuning in. Your time with us here means a whole lot, and we're truly grateful for it. If you found today's video enlightening, or if it fired up your thoughts, do us a solid, hit that like button and subscribe. Join our community to keep getting the real scoop just like this. Your support is what keeps us going strong. And hey, don't stop now. There's another video popping up on your screen. Give it a watch, keep yourself informed, and let's keep this conversation rolling. Until next time, take care and stay sharp.